Hi, everybody.
Nope. No.
Hi, everybody. This is Trading Bitcoin. We have Tone here in DC. Tone, how do you like DC so far? What have you been doing?
Oh, it's great. Been hanging out with you. No, it's DC's pretty fun, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's cool. We went out to dinner last night before. We're gonna actually go with some really high-end steaks tonight. We're gonna have fun tonight.
And play poker.
Yeah, play poker.
We gotta get our poker game up so that we can take Doug Polk on. We gotta take everybody else on.
We're gonna be practicing. We're gonna go. We're gonna do some heads up later.
Oh my God, it's gonna be fun. All right, let's get it started.
All right. Let me. Right. You know what? Gotta do one thing. I need 2 side chats.
Hit us with good questions today, everybody.
Yeah. Up, Bozak's here. Can't wait to see you guys in Vegas. Yeah, we'll see you in Vegas, man. All right, let's go to screen share. Boom. All right, Unconfiscatable update as usual. 13 seats we currently have up for sale at the poker game. We have over 75 people already paid for a seat. It's 100 people maximum. All right, so that's gonna sell out. Still a bunch of conference seats left. 23 at 0.1. We'll probably keep it that way then after. Anyway, this is the go to the homepage, workshops. It's finally here, Paris and London. Hey, so I have Paris scheduled for Saturday. I gotta check with all your protests out there. There's a small chance we might move. No, it's probably gonna stay on Saturday. We'll just keep it simple. So Paris and then London, February 2nd, February 9th. Guys, please be patient because of the Unconfiscatable conference. We are really, really busy. So please be patient on confirmations of your workshop registrations and be patient on access to the indicator. We usually say in our email within 24 hours, but it might take a little bit longer. So if you're gonna sign up for a workshop, just be patient on hearing back from us on that registration. Okay, so just a heads up. Also, I'm gonna be doing a meetup in Phoenix. Damn, I don't have the link. Hold on one second. Last announcement, and then we go. Totally forgot to show that. Phoenix meetup, here it is. Boom. I'm gonna go to Phoenix a week from now on, oh, wow. I did not even know that was gonna come up. Is that me?
Yep.
With hair. That's awesome. Hosted by Blockforge. They sell mining equipment, and that's awesome. Nick, thank you so much for hosting. And yeah, so this will take place in Phoenix, Saturday, January 12th, from 7 to 9 p.m. At the Blockforge office. All right, so go ahead and check that out. I'll tweet this out as well for the domain. I'll put it in the video description. All right, let's go to the charts. The monthly chart looks really, really good. And we have so far a beautiful bullish candle coming up. Beautiful bullish candle coming up on a monthly chart. Now the month just started, and it's the first month of the year, so it's great. So the year is starting off really good, and that is a nice long wick, nice long shadow at the bottom end of the candle in December. Came close to the moving average and bounced off of it. That is a good sign. I still foresee the price of Bitcoin rising into the resistance cluster of death, as I will be calling it from now on. And it's going to be so hard to break this vicinity of 5,000. It's going to be insanely difficult. But I do believe we can get there, possibly as early, as early as this month, but most likely, see the cluster of death takes place in March, right? So that's when it's actually going to happen. So in March, we might make it up there, and then we're probably going to turn back down, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. This is the weekly chart. The weekly chart is starting off really, really nicely with the current week. Today is Monday. If I zoom in on a weekly chart, now the sequential indicator told you to go bullish 2 weeks ago at a price of 41.70-ish on stamp. Now, it turned out to be a red one. So if you were bullish at this point, like I am, I'm still bullish. And now you get a second chance to go bullish if the price of Bitcoin, let me get this to be a little more accurate here. I can drop this down a smidge. If the price of Bitcoin goes above 4,100 this week, we will once again have a green 2 going above a green 1. So for an opportunity to double down or add to your bullish position from 2 weeks earlier, or enter a new bullish position if you have taken your stop loss on the prior bullish position. So to me, this would be a bullish case. And my initial target on the way up would be $5,000. And it depends how many weeks it takes to get there, because according to the monthly chart, it can take as long as going into March, or actually February. Yeah, it's like February, March, the cluster of death. So if it takes like 6 or 7 weeks to get there, this moving average could actually drop down to $5,000 and meet the price there. So then it would be resistance on multiple time frames. But for now, I am leaning bullish on the price of Bitcoin based on our monthly candles and candles. Let's go to the daily candles. The daily candles are also bullish. The daily candle is also giving you a green 2, but the green 2 is not yet above a green 1, right? So we can do another one of these green arrows, green lines. I can go here and I can go like that. So we need to go above this line in order to activate a bullish trade based on the sequential system. Smidge lower. And where is that? This line is at about 4,090. So they're all lining up right here. Now we have closed above the moving average, and we're now working on a full daily candle that started and closed above the moving average. Now this moving average needs to level off and starts to go up. It would be nice to go up a little bit higher before a little bit of a pullback, but we are coming up on this setup trend line. And let's see if we can break the setup trend line sometime next week or so. If we can break the setup trend line, I see absolutely no resistance until we get to the next moving average, which currently sits at 5,300. But if this takes several weeks, that moving average will certainly be in the 5,000 line. And once again, all the time frames are lining up for the resistance cluster of death at $5,000. So the daily chart is leaning bullish, but it has not yet activated a bullish trade. You need to trade today above yesterday's high. And if we don't, we will then lower this line to trade tomorrow above today's high for the execution of a bullish trade based on the TD sequential. 12-hour chart. 12-hour chart did execute. Oh, let me look at I want to see the CMF actually. Oh, that's not good. So the CMF has now dipped back into the selling pressure. That is not a good sign. I really wanted this to stay up there. So that is a little red mark on our plans of leaning bullish. I'm still leaning bullish, but I'm not leaning as bullish as I did 2 minutes ago. So just so you know. Right here is the 12-hour chart. Now, the 12-hour chart did execute a bullish trade. If I zoom in, based on the sequential system once again, which is one of my favorite indicators, my third favorite way of trading after candlestick patterns and chart patterns. So the sequential system gave you a green 3 above a green 2 because a green 2 did not go above a green 1. And right now you are on a green 5, and it's a really good thing that a green 5 is on a pullback because it makes it a lot easier to get to a green 9 for a good exit to a bullish trade. So according to the sequential system, this was bullish. Now you can say, hey, Tone, didn't you actually execute a bullish trade right here with a green 2 above a green 1? And the answer is yes. And this trade probably lost you a little bit of money. Either you set a break-even stop loss once it popped, or the red 2 going below a red 1 knocked you out of that trade for sure. But now you had a second chance, and this made up for the losses that you had, a day or two earlier, and gained you some more money. Now, if you put your entire account on the prior trade, you had no money to make up for it. But if you have good risk management, then you're doing just fine. Anyway, we are holding right here. That was a big pop. It's okay that we're consolidating. And I am expecting tomorrow or the day after for Bitcoin price to go higher as well. As we go to the smaller time frames, this is already starting to look like a bullish flag pennant to me. All right. So this is bullish. It's a bullish sign. The CMF, it's decent. It's not great, but it's better than the daily version. Let's put it that way. All right, let's move on. Here is the 4-hour time frame. And it's not a great bullet. It's not a great flag pennant. Not as nice as I thought it would be. So it's just a pullback. The 4-hour chart is not useful at all. Not helpful. And the 1-hour chart is not really that useful either. So I'm going to stick to the higher level time frames. Longs are starting to deleverage, which is good. It gives you more chances to go to the upside. The ratio, look at this. Look how beautiful this is, Leah. Look at the nines, and look how it always like stops. Boom. And then pulling back. And then if I go back further, I mean, there it is, right? And then it pull back. And then here are the nines to the upside, right? Like, this is great. Like, the nines seem to be doing a pretty damn good job on the ratio. So we are starting to deleverage. It would be nice to deleverage, you know, back to the pink line or even below the pink line. But this doesn't look bad, and I do think that we are ready for a pop. GBTC is back to 490. That's great because my GBTC position is about to go back into the green. And so, since I already took some of my exit off of that position, I think I'm pretty much in the green already on average, but I want to see the whole position go up into the green. Those that watched me tweeting, I have a GBTC position as of, I think, $5 or 5 and like 505 or 510, but somewhere $5 or slightly above it. And that would be nice. The GBTC premium is popping once again. It's currently at 19%, which is great. And so that's pretty good. So once if that pops to like 30%, my position becomes profitable even at a lower price of Bitcoin, which is awesome. Ethereum is just following in Bitcoin's footsteps. I'm not going to look at Litecoin. Look at the futures. Look at the S&P futures. Beautiful, beautiful. And now this is great. Like I said, this was the line. I am very bullish the S&P 500 right now, but like I said, 2600 is going to be formidable resistance. Maybe a smidge higher. If I extend this, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try this again. If I extend this parallel channel, cool. So if I extend this parallel channel, that's also resistance. Now that's close enough to 2600. That's at 2620. So the bottom side of this channel is going to be problematic. Now here's the good news. The good news is that I trust the sequential system. And the sequential system is only on a green 2 that has just gone above a green 1. So it's only starting to accelerate. It's also coming off a 9. Though it's a quasi 9, it's a 9 to me, it's not a 9 to the Wall Street guys. If I look at the daily cash S&P, it looks great. We have a candle that opened and closed above a moving average. That's a great sign, okay? And now we're going up. The next level of resistance is 2630 moving average. But I know that the underside of the channel at 2600 is also resistance. I'll be watching it carefully, but the daily chart is saying that we should break that resistance because we are now in a bullish uptrend up to a 9. So let's see what happens. Now, we already have a precedent here, right? Like, I'm going to delete these arrows. I kind of got that one right. That was nice. I hate deleting arrows with that where I was right. So here's what I'm looking at, right? The current situation isn't all that different than when we popped right here. So we popped back in early November, and we had a huge gap on a 2 candle. This time we had a gap on a 1 candle. And then we made it right up to a 9. We had a reversal candle, a 9, and we got rejected by the 50-day moving average. Let me expand this a bit, right? And I don't see this as being that different, right? Like, I do think that we can make it to a 9, but we have to slow down the pace. Like, if we have these giant up days, then it's going to take a break earlier and the count might break. See, what helped here is we had a huge 1 candle. I mean, the 2 candle pulled back at the end, big 3 candle, but then we slowed down. And then we had 1 more big candle at number 7, and then we already slowed down. So I think it'll be a little tricky to break 2,600, but if we can break 2,600, I think we can go to all-time high. Now, let's look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart, again, it's that same formidable resistance, right? Here's the weekly chart. Now, the divergence that you see here right now, S&P weekly made a new closing high and swing high with divergence against RSI and MACD, but the divergence has played its course. All that the divergence is telling you is that once the price reverses, divergence is telling you that you're going to take out the prior swing low, and we took out the prior swing low. So this divergence is no longer relevant to the future of Bitcoin. Lots of people misunderstand how to trade divergence. So the weekly chart is currently on a red 6, but next week, if we stay flat, we're completely flipping it, because the only way the next candle is going to be a red 7 is if the next candle goes below 2,400. And I don't see it can happen, but I'm not banking on that. So if we can break 2,600 on a weekly scale, your next level of resistance is all the way at 2,730. But I think if we can get above 2,600 and hold it, we can make it back to new all-time highs. So let's not count those chickens yet. So the weekly chart doesn't look that bad because I know I'm pretty confident it's going to flip from what I see based on a daily scale. All right, that's pretty much it. We can talk about Leah's amazing oil trade based on fundamentals.
What are you seeing? Oh, yeah, right. Well, yeah, I mean, I first tell me what you're seeing.
Oh, I'm seeing from a technical perspective, I am seeing a dead cat bounce that I don't believe will break 50 bucks.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So what I've been saying is that the play, while it was going down at the bottom, I think that there's a lot of value, like high quality, especially midstream, smaller companies. And I do think right now that we absolutely are not at the bottom. We're going to see more downside, but you could have played that right there. But from a portfolio management perspective, a third, I think when we finally do hit the bottom, you're going to have a great opportunity. I mean, especially right now, I mean, WTI is so interesting and fun, as we've talked about on especially Hyperwave, is politics comes into play. You're looking at, production is at insane levels. It's not tapering off. But I really think that there's really high quality, smaller companies. And I do think that actually, as it gets cheaper and cheaper, you're going to see a lot of M&A. You're going to see a lot of LBOs. And I think that, if anyone knows how to play M&A, it's there's a lot of arbitrage. It's called merger arbitrage.
We're a little loud.
Yeah, oops. Okay, done. Anyways, I agree with you. I think there's a lot to follow.
You keep talking.
I think that there's a lot to fall. So we're definitely not at the bottom, but you could play these bounces for sure. But no, I think that there's more ways to go, and that we're going to hit a nice bottom. And then I'm still bullish within 2019, but we haven't seen the bottom yet.
Yeah, trying to make sure I keep my voice down also, because sometimes I don't realize it as well.
Yeah, they like Thor too much to kick us out.
Oh yeah, yeah. They love you here.
They do. I'm ready with your questions.
Okay, I'm almost done.
Oh, good. Sure. Yes, keep doing WTI for me. Then I don't need to.
I want a color that I'm not using. Maybe pink. Okay, so So right here, this is where it gets really interesting, right? So on the way down, we fell down too hard, too fast. And I would have loved to fall down slower so that if we didn't have this giant 5 and giant 6, then perhaps the reversal candle would have been a perfected 9, and that would have been nice. So what happens here is you could not close below $50. You pierced 50 because this pink line is exactly at 50 bucks. We pierced 50, but we never closed below 50. We then slowed down for almost a month. And then once we broke 50, it went all the way down to 42, 42.20. That's big. That's like what? 16, 18% below 50 bucks. That's huge, right? And now we're rallying, and notice how the intra-week high has crossed into the intra-week low of the prior down move, but is unable to close above 50, like it struggled to close below 50. If this cannot close above 50, holy shit, I think this thing is going to $20. Like from a technical perspective, like I have no clue what's going on fundamentally.
It's going to be such a solid buy. It's
Um,
great fundamentals. Just
it'll eventually be a solid buy, but like there is absolutely no support. Like as I zoom this out, this is the weekly chart. Like this was that prior swing low, and it pierced 27, 28, and it made it down. Couldn't make it down to 25. So it pretty much held $30. There's no support here. If this thing drops below 40, this thing is going to go and make a new low. I can't see it having a double bottom. Okay. People, you know what? I'm going to visit. I'm going to be with Tyler tomorrow. Oh, we got an epic stream coming to you guys on Wednesday. Wednesday morning, U.S. East Coast time. We'll hype it up tomorrow with Tyler.
By the way, for Precious, Tyler actually got his finance and MBA degree at University of Hawaii when he was in the Coast Guard there. So just putting that out there. As for oil, selfishly, when you finish, will you show dollar, the USD? Because
versus oil?
Well, you don't have to. Well, if you, you can do the USD versus WTI. Or just what you're thinking about the dollar right now, because
okay, I'll pull up the dollar.
We've talked about this econ before.
Yeah. I'll pull up the dollar. So anyway, we're done with oil. So I'm not gonna talk about gold because I'm gonna be at Tyler's place tomorrow, and we're probably gonna do a precious metal show. Wow, I think him and I are just gonna stream for like 8 hours and just like cover everything.
Tyler would stream for 24 hours with you.
I know, it would be. Should have spent more time. Anyway, let's. Somebody wanted me to look at AMD, I believe.
AMD, Nvidia, but yes, AMD.
All right, load chart.
And then you did get some tips, so I'll tell those later.
U.S. equities, U.S. stock watch list.
I love Hawaii.
I haven't been.
For Precious, I really want to go to Niihau. So if you guys can figure out how I can go to Niihau as not a Hawaiian native, that would be awesome. Let me know.
So yeah, so you didn't watch my show yesterday, so I talked. So these were the stocks. So I was talking about shitcoins in comparison to like the GoPro stock and why GoPro stock has done this.
That looks like a nice hyperwave.
Well, not exactly.
I can't see the beginning.
There is no beginning. This is the IPO. Right.
True.
But if you had access to pre-IPO shares, it was certainly hyperwave. That's why they got out at the top. They IPO'd knowing that they lost their competitive advantage. This is GoPro. Fitbit, same thing. They IPO right here, and then boom. Okay. Now this is not a scam by any means. It's basically pressure from the early investors in Fitbit. Hey, we gotta exit, and it's all legal. And those that don't understand why Fitbit and GoPro went public to begin with, guys, a company that makes one single product, like, don't ever buy their stock. They if it's a one-trick pony, don't buy their stock, right? that should be a lesson to you, right? So this is Fitbit, this is GoPro. If you look at any other one-trick pony, that's what happens. And so I was using these and explaining comparison to shitcoins. We took a look at that wasn't.
Listen, they could never explain their points of differentiation when they started getting proper competitors.
Yeah, because there isn't any. And then of course, TiVo was my my ultimate example of like your altcoin that might innovate one day. I mean, it'll end up like TiVo stuff. Anyway, that was a different podcast. All right, AMD and Nvidia.
Yep.
Right, AMD.
And then you got Square.
Here's your AMD. Wow. Actually, they never looked at the history of AMD. It's not impressive. Has AMD really been around since 1973? I did not know that. I'm sorry, this is not impressive, guys. If your company's been around since 1970s and your stock is only worth $20 today, I mean, obviously this is the .com bubble, and this is the real estate bubble, and this was the recent one, and it couldn't even, that's a downtrend. AMD is not doing historically well. I never looked at a monthly chart of AMD, and it topped on a combo on a sequential 13. I'm not even looking at candles, I'm just looking at a line chart. It's the same thing, if you know how to read charts. So AMD is not historically impressive. They need to innovate soon, because like, what have they done for 40 years? I mean, look at Verizon. I had Verizon.
Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft is
killing it.
Microsoft. Look at Verizon, right? I mean, they went from, I mean, they're in an uptrend, like not as, I mean, Verizon only gone from 7 to 60. So versus AMD, AMD went from 4 to 20. So AMD went 5x, Verizon went 7 to 60. That's almost 10x. So that's significantly better. I mean, yeah, I don't have Microsoft on here. Microsoft like completely killed it. But I mean, we all know Apple. I mean, Google doesn't have that kind of a history. Actually, a lot of these stuff. Ford.
Question: how would you? So, as an example with Verizon, but also if we look at utilities, you have, well, with utilities we have natural monopolies, right? How would you be interested in trading? More interested in trading natural monopolies like utilities, or companies with such a unofficial monopoly like Verizon, because you could potentially kind of cut the fundamentals at play?
Well, okay, so
more stable.
When you have, because that's what people complain, because when I talked about Comcast, before we get to Ford, where's Comcast? When I talked about Comcast, and I said, look at the history of Comcast, right? And then people complain, but that's not fair. They have, a government monopoly. And I'm like, it's amazing how people scream manipulation in the face of making money. Like, oh, you can't trade Comcast. They have an unfair monopoly. But yet when they're holding stuff like gold and continuously losing money on holding gold, they complain that it's not their fault. It's the, manipulation that keeps the price of gold down. But I'm like, oh, but they're manipulating the price up, so I don't want to trade it. But the shit that they're manipulating that prevents me from making money, I want to hold that, right? So here's the thing, right? If you feel that there is an unfair advantage for Comcast, then that's what you should be holding, okay? And if you feel that there's an unfair advantage against gold, then that's what you should not be holding. Now, this is where technical analysis, and Tyler explains this beautifully, in that technical analysis will tell you when the unfair monopoly is being broken up, because the insiders will know and they will sell, okay? So when this thing starts to turn like this, you may want to get out. But when this thing goes and makes a brand new high, that's when you want to go in, with both hands and both feet. So basically, the time to buy Comcast was right here. When this double top, you can split it. like, like right in the middle there. When this double top got broken, this took place in 2012, just as everyone was dumping their cable and only buying internet, and Comcast probably had an unfair advantage on selling you the internet. You can complain all you like, but buying it right here at $15 made you a good 3x, okay, with almost no downside, straight up, okay? Now, at the same time, you could have bought something not competitive in 2012. Let's go back to TiVo. You could have said, here's 2012. TiVo is the greatest innovation ever. I can now pause live TV, and then you lost 80% of your money, okay? So this was innovation right here. TiVo innovated, and this was an unfair government monopoly on selling you the cable and stealing TiVo's innovation and integrating it into the cable boxes, okay? So do you want to make money, or do you want to be on the wrong side of a trade screaming governments are bad?
Well, also, sorry, everybody, but if you really want to talk about manipulation, look at corn futures or something like that, where you have subsidies coming into play. I mean, there's a lot of other things you could be complaining about. But yes, definitely. I mean, look at any business class, sorry. But yeah, I mean, you want an unfair advantage. They did very brilliant business here on top of having a good, situation economically. Couldn't agree more. Nvidia.
All right,
Yeah,
before I get to Nvidia, I pulled up Ford because I'm in this
Nice.
I'm in this rant here. Okay,
Nice.
let's go to Ford, right? The Model T that Jason Seibert is telling me that, oh, Tone wants Bitcoin to be the Model T. Let's take a look at Ford. I'm pretty sure Ford was public before 1968. I have a feeling. It's just TradingView doesn't want to give me the data. But hey, let's take a look at Ford. Same time span, right? What did we look? We looked at which company didn't do as good as we thought it was. It was in AMD, right? We looked at AMD. I think Nvidia. AMD started in late 72. I want to see what's the history of Nvidia. I think it's more recent. Yeah. Nvidia is a .com. Oh, okay. That hyperwave. Clearly, right? Maybe not enough history, but no, it should be enough history. Probably hyperwave. I don't know. Well, it's a monthly chart, so it's hard to tell. So it needs to be a weekly chart. Let's go back to Ford and compare it to AMD, right? Here's AMD from, let's say, January 1973, right? January 1973. Oh, yeah, you know what? It didn't do that bad. It was 61 cents. Today, it's 20 bucks. Yeah, that's not that bad, actually. I didn't realize it was that low. So 50-cent stock in 1973. Currently, it's $20, right? But if you missed the first 10 years of AMD, since 1980, or since, let's say, 1982, it went from about $4 or $5, and it's only at $20 today. So it only went up 4x since the early 80s, okay? 4x, early 80s, we're almost in 2020. That's almost 40 years, you've got up 4x. That's not very good, okay? Let's look at Ford. Ford, the shitty Model T that I'm being accused of shilling. Let's go to the same time period. Early 70s, right? We said early 73, January of 1973. Ford is $1. Let's say Ford is $1.50, right? Ford went from $1.50 at the top in the year 2000 to $35. Ford, last I checked, is not a tech stock. Okay, it's not exactly so Ford went, so the Ford, the one that thinks people think is useless and are comparing it to the useless Bitcoin, right? Went from $1.50 to $35 during the tech boom. That's what, a 20x return, 20x return, right? Let's look at AMD during the tech boom. AMD in the tech boom, right, went from, we said, from same thing, 1970, went from 50 cents. It did almost the same, right? That's a tech stock. The other one isn't. Now, from the early 80s, we went, like I said, we went from $5 up to 45. Let's say, I'll give it some benefit of the doubt, right? From 5 to 45 from early 80s, and Ford went from early 80s. Ford was like $3, and it went to 30. So Ford did almost as good, and it's not even a tech stock, right? Now today, from the early 80s, Ford went again from like say $2 in the early 80s, $2 to the early 80s to currently trading at $8. So that's about the same as AMD, right? Now, granted, Ford almost went bankrupt and they required a government bailout. Well, you live in the world of governments, right? You want to be at a company that the government feels is too big to fail and they will bail you out. Was it fair? No, but it doesn't matter, right? Because you can make money on that. So sure, it's not fair, but shit happens. And so there you go. So Ford has not done that bad historically, okay? Yeah, but we all know that Ford got outcompeted, but they didn't get outcompeted I mean, Ford started in 1900.
Yeah, so correct.
They got outcompeted recently, not back then.
Yeah, so the live chat, you are correct that they didn't get a bailout, but yeah, they got an insane amount of money pumped into Detroit. Obviously, if anyone has been to Detroit
GM
recently,
and Chrysler got bailed out.
I mean, all intents and purposes, for sure you could call it a bailout. I mean, the amount of money to reinvent, revive the American car industry, manufacturing.
And the thing is, but you're right, GM and Chrysler got the bailout. So you can say
Chrysler got bought, didn't they buy Jaguar? Something like that.
But the thing is, the GM bailout,
which is also
hurt Ford, because if GM didn't get bailed out, like Ford makes more money because there are so many American agencies that buy American cars, like most of the cop cars, most of the
it has to be American cars for it's
right. Right. So Ford actually got hurt by the bailout, not helped, apparently, because you're right, Ford didn't get bailout, was the GM. I forgot my little history there. So anyway, I'm not even sure where I was going with this, but the point is,
I think Chrysler got bought by Tata. No, Jaguar got bought by Tata. Chrysler totally got bought by something.
Yeah, we don't remember. Fiat was involved in something. But anyway, let's look at Nvidia now. I think you guys should get the point of where I'm going with this. So this is a monthly chart. It's a line chart. And like I see no support on a monthly scale. You have Nvidia has support at $116. If that support is broken at $116, you are looking at a drop back to the prior swing high, right? Which is not good. Back to $36. Oh, didn't mean to lock that. So that's not great. Let's look at a weekly chart. The weekly chart hit a 9 on the little swing up, made a new low, looks similar to oil. It's not looking good. I would not be bullish Nvidia here. It may go up as high as 170, hit its head on the moving average, and then probably turn back down. Let's look at candles. I wanted to see if there was a wick touching the moving average. It almost bounced off the moving average. I think this is going to be very difficult for Nvidia to cross. I think Nvidia hit a hyperwave and it's done. Is that one of your hyperwave thingies?
Well, and also, I mean, Nvidia is so, as people, this is everyone wants to know Square, Nvidia, and AMD because of the proxy trades for Bitcoin. So, of course, they're going to be smashed right now. I mean, they were slashing what they, outlook for earnings for a long time.
Okay, so Nvidia is a terrible proxy play for Bitcoin because Nvidia doesn't make ASICs. Nvidia makes graphic cards for shitcoins. And you know how we feel about shitcoins. They are going away. Oh, by the way, we have a new hashtag. We have a new hashtag right here.
Jacmos?
Nope.
I'm kidding.
Shitcoin denier. We are shitcoin deniers.
We are?
Yeah. Right
I'm not on there. That's good.
Yeah, you're not. Well, no.
Actually, I want to be on there.
Yeah, I want to be on there. Safety should have been on there too.
Man.
Right. So.
Add me.
Right. So.
That's awesome.
From now on, when someone calls you a Bitcoin Hitler, or a Bitcoin extremist, or a Bitcoin whatever, you reply. But I'm going to be replying back with, no, I'm actually just a shitcoin denier.
Wait, to Vortex. Yeah, for sure. And have you been seeing Blizzard Activision? They are actually, you want to pull up some gaming really quickly?
Wait, what am I doing?
So if you go back, traditional markets, go to Blizzard Activision.
Is that a stock?
Mm-hmm. Nice in competition for you next to Bethesda Gaming Studio. I am being real nerdy right now.
Nerds.
And if anyone wants to know who's for Elder Scrolls, who is for Fallout or who is for Call of Duty, and we will know if they're going for public or private.
Can we just play Street Fighter 2 next time you're over like my trailer?
I'm in. You know what? I still have my Magic the Gathering decks. Okay. Anyways.
Okay, what's
Blizzard,
the
Activision.
Blizzard.
Yep. Smashed. I love all those. Thanks, Vortex. Super Smash Brothers. Oh, yes.
Where did it go? Hold on.
Or Mario Kart.
I thought I added it.
Who were you in Mario Kart? Did you play Mario Kart?
No. Blizzard. I thought I added it.
Okay,
Blizzard.
There. You just passed it again, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but I clicked on it, and where did it go? Am I like?
Oh, it's not there.
Yeah. So did I like max
out?
Oh,
there you go. ATVI.
Oh, it's ATVI.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that was that.
Look at.
Yeah. Oh, I used to trade this all the time. I did not even know what it was.
You're a secret geek.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. Oh,
look at that.
So,
sorry, Vortex.
So ATVI was one of the stocks I used to trade all the time in my option plays. I just didn't know what the company did, and I didn't even know what its name was. I just knew that it fit my my trading patterns, and it was very, very profitable. Oh, this thing, it looks screwed. It's exactly like Nvidia, only a little bit worse on the chart scale. Yeah, no, I mean, it can bounce. Yeah, this is not good. This is, dude, I would not touch this thing with a 10-foot pole.
They should LBO.
Yeah, this thing is done. All right.
You want your cues?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so this one was a tip. Thoughts on bottom being in on the S&P. If we hit 2600 area, come down, then make a higher low. And thanks for the free content, bud.
Yes. So here's the weekly chart. If we can, we don't even need a higher low. Like, we don't even need to pull back at this point, right? I mean, the most perfect scenario would be breaking 2600, going above 2700, and either getting rejected at 2700 or all the way at 2800, the purple channel, and then on a pullback holding 2600. That would be like the serious one, because if we can't break 2600, I don't think we will make a higher low. So we have to break 2600 for me to be more than 50% confident that the low is in. Like right now, I'm about 40% confident that the low this low took place last year, right? So I can't say the low for the year. Let's put December into the current calendar year, right? So I am about 40% confident that the low for 2019 is in, okay? So we can say, right, so let's use this as the low for 2019, right? So I'm about 40% confident. That means I'm 60% not confident that, like, I'm more than 50%. I think that there's a greater than a 50% chance, slightly greater than 50% chance that we are going to go lower, okay? However, if we can break above 2600, my chances of this being the low for 2019 increase to just above 50%, okay? Now, if we can go substantially higher than 2600, meaning to 2700 or ideally 2800, then pulling back and not falling below 2600, I will be like 80% confident this is the low for 2019, okay? But as of right now, until you get back above 26, and the higher you go above 26, the more confidence you get that the low is in, obviously. But you'd be surprised how many people don't understand that part. So right now, I'm not confident that the low for the year is in. I need it to close above 26, go noticeably higher, pull back and hold 26. Once it does, pulls back, holds 26 and turns, I'll be like 80% confident there's not going to be a lower low in 2019.
So this, yes, everybody, I saw the square one. We'll do that in a second. No. I'm going to be selfish. Apple.
Sure.
Because I bet you didn't see the news.
I mean, I know they took a nosedive.
Boom.
Bad sales in China, something, I don't know.
They're just, I could get into that for a while because that's fundamentals. But Tim Cook slashed it.
You know, if Let me see what the daily looks like, to be honest with you. If I see a reversal candle off a moving average, no, this is not good. So this to me looks like it wants to close the gap and then go lower. So this is, as much as I want to say, this is a decent opportunity to try and catch a falling knife right off this wick, off the moving average. Yeah, I really think it's short-lived. Is it possible that it can go all the way back up to those moving averages? But these moving averages are going to drop really, really quickly, like really quickly. So, and earnings is coming up. So that's actually a good thing, because if he slashed his outlook, it was probably very strategic in order to lower earnings expectations, to give him a chance to beat the street's earnings. So I would be very careful with Apple, because there's nothing that they're pretty smart. So I would be careful here, because the big fall was he probably didn't like Wall Street's expectations of their earnings announcement. And he would rather control the narrative of getting Wall Street to slash the earnings predictions instead of having missed earnings by a lot, because then his stock could have crashed to like $100, because on earnings, people are already like jittery, and they're already have very like fast trigger figures, and he didn't want to cause like a flash crash in Apple, because he knew he was gonna like get destroyed on earnings. So he would rather ease into it, lower earnings expectations, so he has at least a chance to beat earnings by a penny like they usually do.
So if you don't mind me saying something. So yeah, for everybody that's going to be trading stuff like this, Tone is 1000% correct. You have buy side, sell side, right? And you have analysts. And for the most part, if they pull it out, sell, you are totally screwed. And yes, it's going to be priced into TA, but that's exactly what, and actually we covered it, or that's what I said on Nvidia. They did an earnings call, and they almost never do earnings calls. This was back when I actually started on your show. And if a CEO will go on, and especially on an earnings call, and say, you know, we are going to be cutting our outlook, but this is why, then 1000% you can kind of mitigate what's going to happen and help out. But I'd say, like, you know, so now Amazon's better right now. Well, everybody wants, yeah.
Amazon is coming into a cluster of death itself, right? So I would be very, very careful right here, right? Because this is a death cross. It's a serious death cross. I mean, the whole market is facing this as well. So I would be very careful with Amazon. I would not buy it here. I would wait, and I would see what happens. I like, Amazon is a huge engine, and I mean, I have my hyperwave on Amazon showing in.
I think, can I ask you this question? I like it. And also because I have a contrarian view, so I would like to hear your thoughts. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. I don't know what else I can say about Amazon other than I would not touch it right now.
Yeah. Well, S&P. How come Nvidia and Apple are down yet S&P are up?
Well, Nvidia is not, I mean, the price of a stock is irrelevant. The market cap of Nvidia is not that high. Nvidia is completely like look at where Nvidia ranks within the S&P 500. It probably barely moves the needle, right? So let's take Nvidia out of the equation, right? What was the other one? Apple?
Apple.
Well, Apple is dragging it down, but Amazon is a bigger market cap than Apple within the S&P 500. And look at Amazon. Amazon bounced very nicely, and Microsoft's probably doing okay. You know, it's not a single stock. I mean, this is, yeah, S&P's up because other stocks are up. Like, look at this, right? Look at like the randomness of the stocks that I have here. I mean, even TiVo's up, right? Like 3%, like, come on. So the majority of things are up, only Apple is down. Google is down almost as much as Apple, but Amazon's up $50 today, and Amazon has a bigger market cap. So you want to rank them by market cap. So the NASDAQ is probably not doing very well, the NASDAQ 100. Wait, is Apple even in? Apple? See, guys, Apple isn't a tech stock. People don't realize that Apple is not actually a tech stock, right? Apple's sector is consumer goods or something like that, right? They're not listed as a tech company.
which is why for the outlook, CES is this week. And so they're going to be the talk of town there.
NASDAQ 100 index.
And to your question above,
index constituents.
Exactly what Tone's bringing up, the person who's questioned on why is Apple down when S&P is up. This is exactly going to answer your question, but you know, it will drag for. You need to understand the correlation.
ATVI is in there. But they're not giving me by market cap, right? Like, how do I
get another Bloomberg terminal?
Yeah, I can't afford a Bloomberg terminal. Come on, look at this. Oh, here we go. No, but they're not giving me like
float.
Like it's actually this shit is like you think somebody would post this, but they're gonna get like copyright stuff. Yeah, weighting, component weighting, beautiful. That's what I was looking for. Wait, right. So here's the NASDAQ 100. Apple is coming in third within the NASDAQ 100, right? So Microsoft and Amazon outrank Apple. So Apple and Google are down, and Microsoft and Amazon are up. I mean, I don't know about Microsoft, but Amazon's up pretty big. And then Facebook and, oh, that's Google again. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's, what am I looking at? Sorry, I messed up. Alphabet and Alphabet. Like, what the fuck? Why is it there twice? You add them together and it's like 8%, right? So anyway, then Intel. So it's Netflix is ranking fairly. It's not that high, but so that's the NASDAQ 100. If we do the same thing for S&P, just take a look at the weightings, right? And you can do it yourself. SPX constituents, right? List of S&P by weighting, index components by market cap. Right, so Microsoft comes in 1, Apple comes in 2, but and Amazon comes in 3, right? So sure, Apple's down, but Microsoft I'm sure is up, Amazon is up, Berkshire Hathaway, I have no idea what they're doing. And look what comes in number 5, Johnson & Johnson, and that's the, I mean, they're stable, and look, they're up. So you can just like go and Google it.
Of course.
All right, any other questions?
Really? I mean, you have
we're almost an hour.
Everybody wants Square.
Everyone wants Square, right?
Yeah.
Last one, Square. What's the ticker?
SQ. And for everybody regarding Johnson & Johnson, you should look up for economics inferior good and normal good. Something pretty crazy is a Giffen good. But yeah, if we're talking about bear markets, then you should be looking at.
It's scary looking. That's the weekly chart. I wouldn't touch it right now. It has to, like, this is a bad, I mean, this worries me that the stock market is not going to break out. I mean, you look at these individual stocks that are supposed to be driving the economy, and they're looking like they're going to get into the death cross and just like collapse. Or maybe earnings will save it. I would not touch Square right now. I would wait. I would need it above this high. I would need Square above $73 before I consider buying it.
All right.
All right.
What do you think? We have a carnivory dinner. We probably have
carnivory dinner tonight. Well, and the
other fun stuff, poker. So
oh yeah, we gotta
let's get moving. Too. Oh, Stoic Crypto.
Oh yeah, Stoic Crypto.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh wait, and I forgot to show the conference again. Damn it, I always forget about that. Nope, what am I sharing? I'm not sharing
that's just
sharing
us.
Boom. Hey guys. Oh, the meetup in Phoenix. It's hilarious. So come out to Phoenix on Saturday, January 12th. I'll be in Phoenix from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at a meetup. And of course, a week later or 2 weeks later, we're going to do Las Vegas for the Unconfiscatable conference with poker tournament and carnivory dinners and awesome speakers. So last showing of that. And on that note, we will say goodbye to you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, all.